we not in the same league, dog. We shooting at two different baskets. I shouldn't even have said nothing. And so really, man, I think I would apologize to him if he took offense to what I said. I was joking, but I would apologize to him. And like I said, if I had a chance to sit down with him, I would just say, hey, man, what's wrong? But you got to look at the whole...
Steve Harvey just dropped a bombshell interview trying to crush Katt Williams and his critics, but it exploded in his face. Fans are raging, calling him a desperate liar who dodged every real charge. The backlash is immediate, brutal, and growing by the hour. What was meant to be a confident takedown of Katt's accusations has turned into a PR disaster, with Harvey accused of ducking hard questions and hiding behind scripture instead of facts. In this new interview, Harvey positioned himself as the wiser man, floating above the chaos, quoting Psalms and insisting that he doesn't need to dignify haters with a response. But the irony? Every word sounded like damage control. He dismissed Katt's viral claims as baseless hate, yet never once mentioned Mark Curry, never addressed the joke-stealing allegations, and never denied sabotaging Bernie Mac's film career. Viewers weren't buying the humble act. They saw an entertainer who's cornered and calculating, scrambling to protect an image that's finally catching heat.
And I probably... See, first of all, when I said that, I was on stage at Earn Your Leisure. I was really just joking. I slapped your perm, all this. I was really just in front of a whole lot of people. I was really just joking. I don't really, if I had a chance to talk to Katt about anything, I would just ask him what's wrong. Just what's wrong.
The most glaring red flag was the selective silence. In 2020, Harvey directly clapped back at Mark Curry, calling him childish and telling him to grow up. Back then, he didn't hesitate. He wanted the smoke. But now, he's leaning on vague wisdom about preparing tables in front of enemies. The sudden restraint feels more like a defense mechanism than enlightenment. And that's exactly what fans are saying. Harvey is being careful, not classy. His past shows a man quick to defend himself when he feels secure. But this time, he seems to know that specifics might open doors he can't close. And those doors are wide open. Katt Williams didn't just fire shots in his Club Shay Shay interview. He dropped a catalog of allegations with names, dates, and patterns.
For everything I'm telling you, that's why I can say them so freely.
Kid, I need to know. You here, get your number.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Come on.
He accused Harvey of stealing joke material from Mark Curry, copying the sitcom formula from Hangin' with Mr. Cooper for his own Steve Harvey show, and trying to edge Bernie Mac out of Hollywood roles by undercutting him with producers. These aren't fresh wounds. They're old scars that have suddenly been ripped back into the spotlight. And Harvey's refusal to address them directly is only fueling the fire. Even worse for Harvey, the receipts are piling up. Resurfaced clips show Curry's Halloween material from the late 90s, then Harvey using eerily similar punchlines years later on national TV. One joke about a cardboard box costume? Nearly identical phrasing, same structure, same reaction. According to Curry, he did my whole Halloween material in one Halloween. And fans have done the math. It checks out. Multiple side-by-side videos are circulating across social platforms right now, amplifying what many are calling the undeniable proof of theft. Insiders close to Curry claim the feud never really ended, just went dormant, until Katt dragged it back to the surface. Curry's recent interviews confirm as much.
We got new jokes, so if he still want to keep them jokes, man, that's a damn shame.
You think he still uses those?
He probably does.
He says he once tried to confront Steve face-to-face, but Katt stepped in to de-escalate the situation. That alone flips the narrative. Instead of Steve being the victim of career jealousy, it looks like Curry backed off out of respect, not weakness. Now, with Katt on tour alongside Curry, the duo is giving these allegations new legs, and Steve is barely keeping up. And then there's the Bernie Mac situation. After Mac's tragic passing in 2008, whispers grew louder that Harvey had tried to take his spot in Ocean's 11, even allegedly offering to do the role for less money. Mac's daughter recently praised Katt Williams for speaking the truth about what really happened behind the scenes. How Steve treated Bernie with disdain during the Kings of Comedy tour. How their feud wasn't just a clash of egos, but possibly a calculated attempt to control the spotlight. If Katt's version of events is accurate, Harvey wasn't just competing with Bernie, he was working to replace him.
You gotta be careful of people who become victims of circumstances that they create. You on here talking about me. I didn't talk about you. If you wanna sit down, I'll sit down. Man, I'll sit down with anybody. I promise you I will, man. I'm that big a man now. You know, now 30 years ago, I'd have found you with purpose.
Yeah.
But not no more, man.
Is it low-hanging fruit? Because
the audience hasn't forgotten the 2017 memo Harvey sent to his talk show staff, demanding they stop speaking to him without appointments. Lines like, "Do not approach me while I'm in the makeup chair unless I ask to speak with you directly," turned public sentiment cold. When the memo leaked, Harvey confirmed its authenticity, but offered no apology. That pattern of control, secrecy, and shutdown is now being revisited under a different lens. Former collaborators like Gary Owen have started to speak out about their uncomfortable experiences working on Harvey's daytime show, even saying they were paid less than minimum wage and creatively silenced.
And you can't live your life based on like what other people are gonna think, how other people are gonna feel, because at the end of the day, it's you, it's your life. Right. So it's gonna make you happy.
What's unraveling now isn't just a single scandal. It's a portrait of a long, protected career starting to crack. Harvey's new messaging, that he's above the fray, too successful to care, is colliding with years of unresolved tension and accusation. He can't brush it off as just another online hate cycle. These are his peers, his colleagues, some of whom stayed quiet for years, now coming forward in a wave that's hard to dismiss. Mark Curry isn't backing down either. On Willie D's podcast, he didn't hold back, saying Harvey didn't just take jokes, he wanted to be him. According to Curry, it wasn't about money, it was about identity theft, style jacking, and erasure. He called it a weak move and said Harvey never created his own lane, just walked through someone else's. Curry also pointed out that even if Harvey didn't steal the material himself, his writers knew exactly whose voice they were copying. And if Harvey knew and allowed it, the damage is the same. Fans online are now pointing to a broader history. Clips of Bernie Mac calling out Steve's jealousy, Curry accusing him of wanting to step to comics who challenge him, and Katt Williams laying out timelines that align too closely to ignore.
He got there early and he was on the radio station talking about, "I'm gonna destroy Steve Harvey." And I'm going, wait, we're doing comedy. You know, we're not rappers, this ain't a beef.
Harvey's refusal to name names in his new interview is being read not as restraint, but as strategy. He knows specifics can be verified, and once that happens, the fallout could grow beyond just reputational damage. But if Steve thinks this ends here, wait until we uncover how his old memos and collaborator gripes reveal a man whose empire might be cracking under the weight of these scandals. What's he really afraid of exposing? And as we dig deeper, what starts looking like a personal feud begins to reveal a much longer pattern, one that fans are now calling the Steve Harvey cycle. His recent quote about not needing to explain himself to haters, it echoes that now infamous memo leaked from his talk show days, where Harvey demanded absolute privacy from his own staff, writing, "Do not approach me while I'm in the makeup chair unless I ask to speak with you directly." At the time, it was framed as a power move, but now it's resurfacing with new context. Fans are connecting that entitled attitude to the very way Harvey handled this interview. According to longtime industry sources, that arrogance is exactly what pushed people like Gary Owen out the door.
So they in that generation. And I asked them what is it, and they said, "Dad, you clickbait."
Wow.
He said, "You
Summed it up,
clickbait."
yeah.
He said, "You one of the most viral people in your age group out there." He said, "Dad, every clip on Family Feud got you on it.
Yeah.
You clickbait. If they can take your face and put it on anything, you become clickbait." He said, and that's what it is, you know.
Gary's words hit hard. He said he made 4 times more money filming just a few episodes of Hip Hop Squares than he made during 2 weeks on Harvey's talk show, where he wasn't even allowed creative input. Instead of a comedy partner, he says he was reduced to voiceover filler. And now, in hindsight, the treatment feels less like mismanagement and more like a strategic pattern. One insider close to the show's early production claims Steve was always focused on control, of narrative, of credit, of spotlight. And when others threatened that spotlight, he allegedly found subtle ways to push them out. Which brings us back to the late Bernie Mac. After Katt Williams praised him during his viral interview, highlighting Bernie's raw integrity and calling out the shady games others played to steal his shine, fans started re-examining one particularly damning allegation: that Harvey allegedly tried to snake Bernie's Ocean's 11 role by offering to do it cheaper. Bernie's own daughter weighed in, praising Katt for finally putting respect on her father's name, while making it clear that others, like Harvey, had only started praising Bernie after he was no longer around to compete. And that's the point fans can't stop bringing up. Harvey's denials always come after the damage is done.
On clicks and views, the universe does not differentiate. It just gives you clicks and views. So now, here they come the rest of them. And now you got clicks and views.
My question to that, though, is,
Whether it was denying the GQ interview where Bernie accused him of sabotage, or brushing off Mark Curry's joke theft claims by telling him to grow up, Steve's pattern seems clear. Never acknowledge, always deflect, then quote scripture when it gets too hot. But that strategy isn't working anymore, especially now that the clips are public. The Halloween material, the sitcom parallels, the line-for-line similarities between Curry's old routines and Harvey's talk show monologues. No amount of vague spiritual quotes can make those disappear. Meanwhile, the tide is shifting. Katt and Curry's Dark Matter tour has exploded in popularity. Ticket prices have soared from just over $50 to more than $200. The first 3 shows sold out fast, and demand hasn't slowed. According to tour insiders, it's not just about the comedy, it's about the message. Fans feel like they're watching justice play out in real time. Many believe Harvey's refusal to engage directly is proof he can't, that he spent years building a brand off charisma and calculated silence, but now the receipts are finally catching up.
You see, I'm a public official, so everything I do is for the public's perusement. So my job is to do the best.
Even more revealing are the motives insiders claim are hiding beneath the surface. Katt Williams says he was invited to join the original Kings of Comedy after Bernie Mac left, but he refused. Why? Because, in his words, "You think I'ma let you trash Bernie and then come get me?" It's not just beef, it's legacy. And if Harvey really did try to erase Bernie by replacing him, and Katt by outshining him, then this isn't just about one interview. It's a long game. One built on quietly moving pieces, denying everything, and staying just polished enough to avoid direct blame. But now, the polish is cracking. Curry didn't just say Harvey stole his jokes. He said he wanted to be him. He described it as something deeper than money. "You want my style," he said. That level of resentment doesn't come from one bad night. It comes from years of feeling erased. And when Harvey shrugs it all off with a vague, "I've never stolen a joke in 35 years, it only adds fuel to the fire. Because fans have the clips, they have the dates, and they're not forgetting. But what if the evasions and scripture quotes are more than just public relations tactics? Industry insiders are beginning to suggest that Steve's refusal to engage directly with critics like Katt Williams might come from something deeper, an unresolved wound tied to his rocky relationship with Hollywood itself. For years, Steve positioned himself as a crossover icon, game show host, sitcom star, talk show face. But his acting career never took off the way many expected. Katt's brutal assessment that no major scripts ever called for a character like Steve cut to the heart of that lingering failure. And now, the theory swirling behind closed doors is that Steve's defensiveness isn't just about jokes, it's about legacy.
I'm not talking about him particular, but if you go on a podcast to degrade and belittle another group of people, that's a little move to me. That's just real to me. I don't, if y'all ask me on the show, man, I don't want to talk negative about nobody. That's why I say, man, like, I would apologize to him, or I would say, ask the brother what's wrong, because I really want to know, but.
That wounded ego may explain why Steve doesn't just ignore critics, he targets them. Fans have started piecing together a timeline showing that each time someone questioned his originality or motives, Steve responded by belittling their success, minimizing their influence, or hiding behind moral authority. Some speculate that he sees figures like Katt not just as threats, but as painful reminders of a different kind of comedy success, one built on raw talent and unfiltered truth, not polished hosting gigs or syndicated reruns. When you build a brand as the wise elder statesman, any suggestion that you climbed up using someone else's ladder threatens to bring the whole tower down. That threat isn't just symbolic. There are now whispers within entertainment finance circles that Steve's empire might be showing signs of slow decline. His daytime talk show was quietly replaced by newer, cheaper talent. His pivot to hosting reality formats hasn't hit the same cultural nerve. Meanwhile, Katt's resurgence, amplified by unapologetic interviews and packed tour dates, is becoming harder to dismiss. Some analysts say the current tour's momentum is drawing audiences away from the traditional Kings of Comedy model and towards something rawer, more direct, and more profitable. The contrast in earnings tells its own story. Steve's past tours and specials brought in money, yes, but they were part of a broader machine: network deals, ad sponsors, executive oversight. Katt, on the other hand, has positioned himself as the anti-establishment comic, packing venues under his own brand, building a loyal audience without corporate filters. And fans are noticing. Ticket stubs, social media buzz, even resale prices all indicate Katt's audience is not only growing, but becoming more emotionally and financially invested in his narrative. It's no longer just about who's funnier, it's about who people believe, and that belief has a price.
The social media fodder was upset with you for the way you finally responded to him. Mm-hmm. You mentioned his height and what you could do if there was ever an altercation. They said they felt like what he said about you was true because of the nature of your reaction.
Oh, well, see, first of all, I ain't really good at social media, so I didn't even know that was out there. But they can, really kiss most of the corners of my when you say stuff like that.
If Katt's claims gain traction, and if more insiders follow Gary Owen's lead by speaking out, Steve could find himself not only reputationally bruised, but financially cornered. Brands don't like uncertainty. Investors pull away from mess. Already, there's speculation about whether upcoming deals might stall if this narrative keeps building. Some executives are watching the situation closely, wondering if Steve's aura as a respected mentor figure can withstand the pressure of these mounting claims, and whether the costs of defending him are worth the backlash. All of it raises the same haunting question. If Steve Harvey's credibility rests on his image as the untouchable kingmaker, what happens if that image collapses? Is the silence about joke theft, the deflection around Bernie Mac, the dismissal of Katt Williams, all just the surface layer of a much deeper fear? Because once money, pride, and legacy are in play, the stakes are never just personal, they're structural. And if the money trail behind this feud really starts to unravel, we may find that the most explosive betrayal hasn't been spoken yet. Online forums are lit up with timelines, comparison videos, and resurfaced interviews. One former road manager claims Harvey's feud with Bernie started long before the Kings of Comedy, dating back to disagreements over joke order, who went last, who had the best crowd reaction. Others say Harvey always saw himself as the true headliner, even if audiences didn't. That deep need to be the star might explain a lot. Why he allegedly shut out Gary Owen's creative input, why he stayed silent when Cedric was accused of stealing from Katt, and why he seems incapable of admitting that any criticism might be valid. And now that he's leaning on haters gonna hate theology, fans are asking the real question: who's he really trying to convince? The public or himself? Because when respected comics like Katt, Curry, Gary, and even Bernie Mac's own daughter are all pointing fingers, it's hard to believe it's just noise. The pattern is visible, the motive is clear, and the backlash? It's only growing. As these threads keep unraveling, one thing's clear. Steve's attempt to humiliate his critics might just be the spark that burns his carefully built facade. But will the next revelation finally force him to face the music? Or is there more dirt waiting to drop? Let us know what you think in the comments. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell, because this storm is far from over.